open it up. We have time for just a few questions. Let's see if there are any questions for any of the speakers or the students. Have anything you'd like to ask? Yes, sir. Andy.
Students, were there any low points when you realized what workload you had to add on to everything else?
Andy asked to see whether there were any low points and what was the workload.
I got this. All right. There were some very low points when we're over Christmas break and I get calls at like 7 in the morning. Hey, Shelby, we're coming to school. Can you be here in like 5 minutes? Or, you know, whenever you want to go home, you've had a rough day at school, but no, you have to come back and work until 10 o'clock at night. So, yeah. Carrie, you got something to say too?
Actually, I take pride in being at the school more than the teachers, so.
There you go, Carrie.
How did you come to the decision that these would be the right people to be on the team? Talking to the microphone.
Mrs. Davis can say something.
Well, I'm the gifted facilitator for several schools and travel around, but I just really wanted 7 people to be on the team because that was the maximum we could have. And so I just begged the kids when they would come to class. I would say, "Do you want to be on this team, right? You know, it's going to take a lot of work," and I kind of nagged them into it. And it was fun, and I was glad I found 7. And I have a question. Are you Andrew Hahn? Yes. Would you be our mentor? Yes. Last year, he had about 25 teams, and he was so busy, you know, and he was one of our mentors, but he said, you know, it will be marginal because I have so many. But so I hope I'm the first to ask.
I think that was a yes. Any other questions? John?
Yeah, Ms. Davis, what prompted you to select the Real World Design Challenge as the activity that you pursue, given all the different options that are available to teachers and students?
Why did you choose the Real World Design Challenge over other possible choices of activity?
Well, it came out in our state, our KSDE, Kansas Department of Education newsletter, and I saw that it looked like a good thing for math and science. I'm a math teacher, and I always want to promote something in that area. So we signed up for it. And I remember talking to the principal and the vice principal about it, and the vice principal said, "Sounds really hard. I don't know if high school students can even do this." But they did, and it was well worth it. It was very, very challenging, very rewarding. Thanks.
Talking to Carson earlier, as I understand it, there might be a lot more interest now. Can you talk about kind of the ripple effect this has had on the school?
Oh, well.
What is the ripple effect that the participation in Challenge has had on the school?
Well, we all got, the biggest prize of all was the iPod Touches that they provided for all students, and you know, you go back with those and say, look what we got, and wow, everybody wanted to be on the team all of a sudden. But that was pretty cool, and they were engraved on the back with the challenge, and then we got about 5 trophies that are in the office, and everybody up front and personal can see them, and our pictures in the office. And so now there's a lot of kids who want to do this. They come and see me frequently and say, "Have you got it yet? Have you got the challenge yet?" So thank you.
For the students, what were your parents' impression of your participation in the Real World Design Challenge?
What were your parents' impressions of your participation in Real World Design Challenge?
As my mom would say, for 6 months, all she saw of me was the top of my head. She was really proud of me, obviously, but definitely missed me at home, and so it was kind of nice when it was over, I guess. But she could definitely tell it was worth it. The enjoyment I got out of it, she could kind of see reflected in my behavior and the time I dedicated to it.
Yeah. My mom did not like the fact that I didn't empty the dishwasher anymore. or the fact that there was no longer a floor in my room. There was a trail to my bed and a trail to the closet, and that was it. I know at least my parents were a little stressed out when track started, and I was never home, and I was getting stressed with my homework. But then they saw just how happy we were, and we're all working together, and they were supportive, but kind of scared of us at the same time, I think. So.
As all engineers know, it takes an incredible amount of work, and my parents are both engineers, so they knew a little bit about that. But they were both very proud of us, and my sister and I actually did it the first year, so it was double the kids in it. But they are really excited for us because what other kids get to go to Washington D.C. on an all-expense paid trip because of something for school? It's incredible. They're very proud of us.
My parents were very supportive of me. They didn't quite understand exactly what was going on, but they did the best they could, trying to understand and trying to take me to meetings and everything. And my mom frequently bought everybody food so we could work the entire day and all through the night, especially on the last week before the national challenge. My parents definitely made many concessions for me. So.
Any other questions or thoughts? Jim?
What advice would you give to other high school students thinking about the competition meeting or down the road other kids interested in pursuing STEM?
What advice would you give to other students who might want to be part of the Real World Design Challenge or go into STEM careers?
I would say I know it's very intimidating and scary when you meet all these brilliant people and you're like, I don't know half the words that are coming out of your mouth, but okay. But it's really worth it, and you meet some of the nicest people. Like, out of all the people I've met, engineers are definitely the ones who've been nicest so far. And I just think it's a lot of work, but if you can get through all the work, it's really rewarding in the end, and it's worth it.
I would say that oftentimes in our classes in school, you have to learn the material. And the cool thing about doing the Real World Design Challenge in engineering is you get to apply it. So you get to actually see what it's for. And that's one of the things that I would say makes it a really fun challenge. And that's why I would encourage kids to do the Real World Design Challenge.
I would definitely tell them take in consideration how many things you're already doing, because it is very time consuming, but it is so worth it. Every single hour you spent in school not hanging out with your friends is definitely worth it when you get to do things like this, and it's wonderful to really figure out how to apply everything I've learned. So.
Other questions or thoughts? I'd like to make just a couple of concluding remarks. Thank you again, all of you, for coming, but particularly thanks for all the speakers and special thanks for the students. I know they've had a very difficult week. They did not tell you that on Sunday night, when they called me from Kansas City at the airport, that their plane had malfunctioned and they couldn't get here, what the stress level was. And then finally they went to the podium where the Delta counter was, and they told the person who was at that counter that they had to go to Washington to meet with the president, and Delta really scrambled around to be able to make it possible for them to come. So they did get here. And two of the students had their suitcases lost as a result of that change, and they had to go to the White House the next day. And so we scrambled around getting them clothes and pinning pants together so they wouldn't fall off when they met the president. There were a lot of things that happened behind the scenes that they didn't tell you about just this week. But there's a lot of things that they went through. I know they had a wonderful experience, and we're very pleased about that. But it's really all about the kids and inspiring them, giving them the opportunity so that they can move forward and take the roles that we may have had and roles that will be in the future that we may not even anticipate. And for those of you many of you who are in this room have been involved in the challenge, but for those of you who have not, this is an opportunity to offer you the chance to be part of the challenge. There's room for everybody in it. And so if you haven't had a chance to participate as either a mentor, a judge, or in some other capacity, in some other way, you and your organizations are very welcome to partner with all of us, including the students, to make this a success for the future years. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for coming and wish you a great day. Thanks a lot.